Welcome to Marnie's Marketing Mondays, and today we're going to be talking about Facebook advertising. So I've got a little bit of a presentation for you, but then we can also take some questions. Presentation's not really that long, but let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. If you're not a member of Marnie's Marketing Mondays, our members get the recordings of the Marketing Mondays and the archive of the previous sessions that we've done. So we've covered all kinds of topics around marketing. So if you want to check that out, go to marniemarcus.com/MMM. And today we're going to be talking about Facebook ads, like I said. So these are the basics, okay? So like what you need to get started, what you need to know, some basic tips. There's no way for me to cover all of everything to do with Facebook advertising on this training, but I have put together a Facebook mastermind group, which is going to start next week. And so I will tell you a little bit about it later, but right now I'm just going to tell you some basics about Facebook advertising so that you can, get started. All right, so first off, everything really comes down to the audience that you select. You want to make sure that you know who you are trying to reach. And, when I work with my Facebook ad clients, the very first consult that I usually have with them is about who they want to reach. And I have noticed that most people really don't. They think they know who they need to reach, but when it comes time to advertise, they really don't. They don't know enough about their audience to really dive down and advertise effectively. When you run Facebook ads, you can't go really broad. You don't want to waste your advertising dollars reaching people who are not really hot for what it is that you're offering. So you need to really understand your audience. And these are some basic things that I ask anybody when I'm going to help them with Facebook advertising. Is your audience primarily men or women? Or it could be both, and that's fine. But I find that a lot of people, they might say, well, it's really, men mainly end up being my customers, or, oh, it's mainly women or whatever. And you could split it out and you could split tests between the two, but you need to know the gender, whether you're hitting both or one or the other. Age range. There may be a sweet spot. Think of it in terms of the sweet spot of who you would want to have as your clients or your customers or whatever, or who's the ones most likely to buy. Okay. Where do they live? Are they mainly in the U.S.? Maybe they're U.S. and Canada. They may be mainland U.S. They may be specific states. If I'm helping someone who's an insurance agent, for example, they may be only licensed in certain states, so they don't want to reach everybody. They just want to reach the people in certain states. But for a coach or a consultant, they may be willing to work with people in Australia and New Zealand and Europe and the U.S. and wherever. So you could look at, where do they live? Are they more likely married or not? Because you can target down to whether people are married or single or separated even. I mean, there's different marital statuses that you could reach. And if there is an income range, now you may think, well, no, there's no really income range, but if you were to think about it, who are the people that it would be a no-brainer for them to afford what it is you're offering? Where somebody in the $30,000 a year range might really need what you're offering, will they spend the money on it? Maybe it's really people that are $100,000 or more would be able to buy your $2,000 or $3,000 coaching program. Even though the other people might need it, they might not part with the money. So you might look at income ranges and also think about topped out income ranges. I mean, it may be that, if somebody's making, you might say, well, they need to make $100,000 or more. But if they're making millions of dollars a year, are they still your audience? Okay. So think about it in terms, is there a point where, okay, if they made that much money, they're probably actually not my audience anymore. Books that they read are a great place to start. And what I usually do is, like, if I'm trying to reach, let's say a customer comes to me and they're saying that they really want to reach people who are into holistic health. Okay. So what you could do is look on Amazon for the top books on holistic health. So, you know, and you might find that there are people who are the best-selling authors. Look for the bestsellers on Amazon. Who are those authors? Then come back over on Facebook and see if those authors have big followings. If they do, when you go into the audience manager, you might be able to put their name in, and you might be able to target people who follow that author. This is a really handy way to figure out who people are following. Another one is just other people you know they follow. Maybe they follow other coaches or consultants, or maybe they follow people on the specific hobby that they have. You know, maybe most of the people in your audience have a specific hobby and they follow somebody who talks about that hobby. They may or may not be reachable on Facebook, but it never hurts to try to look and see if you can target these people or their audiences. Another really good place to start is the products or tools or services they buy. For example, I mainly want to reach people who are doing online marketing. So online marketers are probably using something like One Shopping Cart or Infusionsoft. The people who want to do really a lot of Facebook advertising that might want to hire me to do that, they're probably already going to have some kind of email program. You know, maybe they're using Aweber, maybe they're using MailChimp, although please don't use MailChimp. But anyway, they're using some other tool. Maybe they're using PayPal, although PayPal could be broad because you could have people who use PayPal that are not in online business at all. So you kind of have to do some combination. You know, you start building your audience saying they need to be this gender and this age, and they need to be in this marital status, and then they maybe need to have one of the following interests, and they need to be using one of these following tools. So you can do these combinations of and or. You know, they need to either be using Aweber or Infusionsoft, or they need to be using, you know, following this person or that person. And then you can also go by interests, you know, just some examples of different ways, different clients that I've worked with. I've worked with a company that they invented a new cat litter. Okay. So we could target by people, we go into behaviors and say people who buy cat products. And they were doing expos in certain states. So we targeted people within those states, within actually the geographic area of the expo, who bought cat products. Okay. Another type of thing you might do is, let's say that the people that you want to reach are sports enthusiasts of some kind. Maybe they're into tennis. You know, most of your people play tennis. You might be able to target by tennis or by poker or by, you know, whatever interest you know these people have. Okay, so once you know your audience, now you want to pre-educate them on something. You want to have some kind of offer that doesn't give away everything you're selling, but gives them enough pre-education to where it would be a no-brainer to buy what it is you're offering. So for example, if I'm using Facebook ads to sell my how to create information products fast, a pre-education on that might be how to decide which product to create, or is there an information product in you? You know, if you're going to be selling something around holistic health coaching of some kind, then maybe people need to know, whether eating holistically or taking care of yourself holistically has to be this all or nothing thing, or, I mean, some people might avoid jumping down that rabbit hole because they just, I don't know that I can go with all or nothing, I gotta, so maybe your angle is, hey, you can ease into this and we can make it fun and this is how you do it. So maybe you educate people that it doesn't have to be this major undertaking or something like that. So how would you pre-educate? Here's some possible ideas. These are things that you could promote on Facebook. It could be as simple as a blog post, just a blog post about whatever that it is you're talking about. I've seen this used very successfully when I've run ads for NAMS, for example. They're a online business education company. Okay, so they'll do a blog post on a specific topic of education around online business, and then they'll have maybe a lead generator come after that. So like that, you read the article, let's say, on how to do email marketing, and then at the end they offer you this free opt-in to get a course on lead generators, how to build your lead generators or something like that. And then that leads into a course that they're offering on how to, build up your email list or whatever. So you could start with something just as simple as a blog post, and those are really nice because they don't look like ads when you run them. They look educational. People get value out of them. You can capture the people who go to the page, even if they never even fill out your opt-in offer at the end, so that you can what they call retarget to them. So retarget means put another ad in front of these people. So they've looked at something you have and you want to send them something else. You want to put another ad in front of those people. We call that retargeting or remarketing to these people. So a blog post is a good way to build that type of audience where you can also put something else in front of them later. Videos are a good way to pre-educate, videos that you load into Facebook and then promote. Or it could be that you've got a regular type of ad, but it leads to a video series. So when they go to the landing page, they see a video and you're offering them a series of videos that train them and break down the education into little bite-sized pieces. Again, these are free things. When you advertise on Facebook, you want to advertise something free, usually, almost always. There are a few exceptions, but that's going to get you your best results. Some kind of thing that's going to give them a free taste. So maybe you're going to give them an ebook or a free report, or you could use a strategy session. The strategy session method really works better if the people that you're marketing to know you. Okay, if they don't know you from Adam's House Cat, they probably are not going to book a strategy session unless you do some really phenomenal job, like maybe send them to a blog post that really educates them on something, or sends them a video that really grabs them, and then offer the strategy session. I've had really good results by doing a really educational Facebook Live. Like I've done a Facebook Live on how to do, the basics of Facebook ad marketing. And then in it, I offer them a free strategy session, and I'll get people sign up from that. So that would be something maybe you could promote a Facebook Live thing that you've already done, and then lead people to a strategy session. Okay, so now that you know who your audience is and you know what you want to offer them, there's some other ways to gather up this audience, okay? And when you run ads, you always want a way to capture the people that you're running the ads to. Back in the old days, I used to run a lot of newspaper advertising. And, well, there's people looking at those ads, but unless they picked up the phone and called me from that ad, I had no way of gathering them into an audience. Today, we have an amazing amount of power to gather the audience. We can capture into a list the people who click through to what you're offering, or who look at your videos or whatever. You may not be able to get their individual names unless they fill out a form, but you can at least get them into a list that you can then run some more ads to them later, which is just really a priceless thing if you think about it in the broad scheme of advertising. I've been doing advertising online since, 1994. And I used ads, like I say, in newspapers as far back as 1990. That's how I ran my business in 1990, was running a little newspaper ad. So the development in advertising is just amazing in what we can capture, and you want to take advantage of that. You don't want to be in the dark ages with your advertising. So let's talk about how we gather these people. First of all, you need some kind of a mailing list to get these people on. That's where your free offer comes in. That puts them into a mailing list. You could be using something like Aweber or something more sophisticated like One Shopping Cart or Infusionsoft or something like that. But you need some web gathering. Now, I'm gonna throw my warning out, and MailChimp probably hates me because on everything I tell people don't use MailChimp. And I know it's free, but I have seen people run ads and spend thousands of dollars, and half of their people are lost because of MailChimp's weird way of dealing with people signing up. I mean, you can really waste a lot of money. So you want to be careful with it, unless you just really know some way around to keep from losing your list. You want to use a single opt-in if you can, instead of double, because the people need to, you're paying for these leads, okay? So if they've got to go and opt in again and confirm, a certain percentage of them are not going to do it. So if you can find something like, I think, even Get Response or something like that, someplace that will let you turn off the double opt-in, that would be better if you can. Or at least ones who have good deliverability, like Aweber has really good deliverability, so the people are more likely to get the confirmation email. Where with something like MailChimp, they may never see the confirmation email, and when that happens, not only do you not have the person's confirmed on your list, but MailChimp just sort of dumps their email off into the ether somewhere where you don't even have it. So if you use them, at least turn on some function to have the emails sent to you or something where you have those lists. Okay, so at the minimum, let's say you don't even have a way to get anybody on a list and you still want to run an ad, you want to start building audiences. At a minimum, you want to gather the audience of people that are seeing what you're doing into an audience. Now, you can't gather people who saw an ad, okay, just if they saw it. They have to have acted on it. They need to have clicked on something. And then there needs to be some way for you to track that the people clicked on that page. So you need to be able to edit the page they clicked on through to put a code on it so that you can gather that person onto your list. So if you're not doing that, the only other way you can gather an audience, if you're not sending them anywhere, is maybe with video. With video, you can gather people who've looked at 10% of the video, 25% of the video, whatever percentage that you want to put in there. And those people could be gathered into a Facebook audience for you to then, what is called, remarket to later, send something else to them later. So if you're doing Facebook Lives, for example, I talked to 3 different women on Thursday, I think it was, and they're all doing Facebook Lives, but they weren't gathering their audiences, okay? Even though they may not be ready with a website or whatever, they could do these Facebook Lives and at least capture those audiences into a list, and Facebook will store them for a specific amount of time. Now, the other day when I was setting one of these up, I believe they've changed it to 365 days that they will store that audience, but you need to do it quickly and immediately. Once you create the video, you need to get in there and create an audience so that it can be capturing those people. Okay, so the next thing you need is a product or a service, because you're getting this audience. Now what are you going to sell them? What are you going to lead them into? And you want to start with kind of a lead-in product or service. You want to avoid going directly to some high-ticket item, because the odds of you going directly from a lead generator to a super high-ticket item is probably remote. So a lot of people will go into something like a $7 product or a $17 product, or maybe a book, or even a $47 product or something like that. But once you get on up higher, unless it's people who know you and you have a rapport with them, they're probably not going to jump up into higher priced products, or unless you do a fantastic job of being able to really sell and market. But most average new entrepreneurs don't know how to do that, okay? They just don't have the skill level to take you from an ad to a high-end product automatically. It's going to be rare, okay? Okay, so here's some things to avoid. When you run Facebook ads, I would avoid the term webinar. It's dated and it tells people that I'm going to have to sign up for this and wait. Okay, I'm going to have to wait for later today or tomorrow or maybe next week. I don't know what it is, but the term webinar, just avoid it. Call it a training, call it whatever you want, but don't call it a webinar. Also avoid anything over $20 to a brand new audience if you're going to send them directly to a sales page. Keep it under. I've seen $7 products work okay, and some people are real big believers and they don't want tire kickers. They want somebody who's willing to pay from something. So like I've seen NAMs, they'll run $1, a $14-day trial for $1 for their insiders membership. Okay, so they've got the person to at least pull out their credit card, make a micro payment of $1. They can cancel before the 14 days, but a lot of them will go ahead and stay because their product is so great. They'll stay in their membership. So think about that as far as things to avoid. Also avoid anything where they're going to have to register out into the future for it. Instant gratification. Think just people on Facebook are gnats, okay? They have this attention span of a gnat. If you're going to give them something, you got to give it to them now. You want instant, not something that they're going to have to wait for. So avoid any kind of advertising for something that they've got to wait for. Okay, so what you need to do is install some Facebook pixels on your site. Now, I do have some videos on my site somewhere to teach you how to do that. I'm not going to go into the details of how to install pixels today, but that is something I help my clients do. It's also something I'm going to cover in my mastermind training that's coming up. But you need, the reason why these pixels need to go on your site is they're going to help you track the people that are visiting your site so you can reach them again. And it's very smart. This pixel is super intelligent. It knows what ad those people clicked on to get there. It knows what page they landed on. It can even be smart enough to know whether they filled out a form, whether they hit like an add to cart button that abandoned the cart. You can use all kinds of pixels to get really intelligent data. You can tell whether they purchased or not. Just lots of important information, but at the bare minimum, you want a page view pixel on all the pages of your website or your landing pages so that you can gather these people and send something to them again in the future. Then you want to, once that pixel is installed, you have to create an audience for that pixel in the Facebook Ad Manager. When you're in the Facebook Ad Manager, there's a section called Audiences. And in that, you can create specific audiences. You can say, I want to see everybody who went to my website in general. Okay, you can keep it that broad. Or you could say everybody who landed on this specific blog post. Sometimes I'll create audiences of people based on what blog posts, categories of blog posts they looked at. So if they've looked at any of my blog posts about Facebook advertising, I can capture them all in one audience and then send them something because I know they've looked at one of my blogs on Facebook advertising. So you can get really sophisticated, or you can just stay really broad and say, just give me everybody who's been to my website. Okay. What you want to do is you want to start with your low-hanging fruit. When you go to spend money on advertising, start with the people who know you, who have had some kind of interaction with you. So one of the really good places to start, because I see so many people who don't even have websites but are doing Facebook Live. If you do your Facebook Lives from a business page, you can capture the viewers. You could tell it to, okay, I want everybody who's watched at least 10% of my video to go into a list over here, an audience over here. Or I want only the people who've watched at least 25% of the video. And or 100% if you want them to make it all the way to the end, although a lot of people don't ever really make it to the end. They watch almost all of it and then they just click off. So that is a low-hanging fruit. So anytime you create a Facebook Live, do it from a business page. You can't capture the people from a personal page. Do it from a business page. and then immediately go into the audiences section and set up an audience for people who have watched that video. And okay, the next is your website visitors. So if you've captured those website visitors, you can run ads to them. Your mailing list, you can import different mailing lists that you could bring in your customers, and you could say, I want to run this ad to all of my customers or all of my prospects, so the whole database of prospects, or however you want to segment your list, you can bring them in. You can even exclude. You can say, I want to run the ad to everybody but my customers, or everybody but the prospects, or whatever, if you want to do it that way. If you've got any other videos posted on your business page, you can capture those viewers as well. You can also run ads specifically to people who've liked your page or friends of people who've liked your page. So all of these are like your low-hanging fruit. These are people who have some interaction with you to some degree. And when you put something in front of them, you're going to get better results usually than just a cold audience that doesn't know you. Just some tips on selecting images for your ads. Go for the end result. So if you're helping depressed women feel better, I wouldn't show an ad of a depressed woman, really. You want a happy woman because they want to be happy in the end. I mean, you could try split testing, but usually when I split test, the negative image doesn't get as good a results as the positive one. So go for the outcome. Paint the picture of the outcome that you want on the other end. Smiling women tend to work better than other photos. If you can get a splash of red in there, it pops, it stands out on people's timelines and their feeds, and they'll notice it more. And if you do use text, I wouldn't use a lot. Facebook used to have a rule where you couldn't have more than 20% of text on the ad. Now they will show it, but they might show it less than they would show your ad if you had less text. Really, when you put text on an ad, it usually screams ad, and you want what you're posting to look like anybody else's post. You want it to look like something somebody just posted without it being an advertisement. And make it, look as normal as possible. I'm going to take a little leap here and run over to Facebook and just go through the feed and show you here. Let's just take a look, because I'm probably going to see some ads just in a normal feed. Okay, so that's just something I could promote. Oh, my little boy cute. Okay, that right there, purple. That is an ad, see, because it says like page, and they're showing a video of this thing. Okay, that's an ad. Just so you get an idea of what ads like. That's a video ad right there. These are not. These are just standard posts. That's the new colored post there. That's a normal post. Okay, so that right there, that is an ad. That's a video ad. Regular one. Okay, here's something. Okay, they even call their thing promo, which screams ad. Okay. The video ads, they've got a learn more button that tells you it's an ad. So eventually people become ad blind and they just, oh, that's an ad. I don't want to look at that. That one, it's an ad, you can tell it's got a sign up box on it. And those are fine. I mean, you can run those and everything, but just be aware people are going to know they're an ad. Now see that right there, that's an ad, Amy Porterfield, but it doesn't really look a lot like an ad. It looks like Amy just made a video and, it is an ad. I mean, I know enough that it's an ad because it's got a learn more button and everything. but it doesn't, I don't know, it just kind of looks like a post and she's got a video. Okay, that kind of thing usually works better than some of these others that just look, obviously it's a corporate thing and, you know, it's a corporate video. I mean, a lot of people think they have to be really super fancy and professional, but when you are, it just says you're an ad, you know, where this thing over here that looks like it's in her house, I think, yeah, it's just like a room in her house. Yeah, it's good quality, but it doesn't scream ad like these other things do, okay? So the less you can scream ad, the better. Okay. Okay, so just some terms that you're going to need to know, even just do the basics with Facebook advertising, is a campaign. So a campaign is when you're promoting something specific. A campaign might be to your opt-in page, you know, the free lead generator that you have. Another campaign might be to the sales page that you're going to send people to after they opt in, or maybe you're going to send existing people to this directly to the sales page. That's a separate campaign. And think of it in terms of basically the URL you're sending them to is unique to the campaign, although you can split test different URLs, different variations. So it's not literally the URL, but I mean, it's sort of like the thing you are promoting. Okay, think of it in terms of the thing you are promoting. An ad set is the same thing basically as an audience. It's the group of people that you're going to mail to. So campaign is like the top tier. It's the main thing. You're going to promote this. What are you going to promote? And to whom? So now you might have multiple ad sets within the campaign. So if I was running a campaign to about the cat litter company, for example, okay, one ad set might be people in Michigan who are close to the expo they're doing this week, and another ad set might be people in Pennsylvania that they're doing an expo to next week. Okay, so that's a different grouping of people. The same thing's going to get promoted, but different grouping of people. And then the ad itself is underneath the ad set. So ads exist within ad sets, and ad sets exist within campaigns. So once you have the audience, now you might run several ads to that audience. You might send, generally what I'll do is I'll start with the same ad, 3 different versions of it, but they're basically all the same except for maybe the picture. The only thing I change is the picture. And I'll run those against each other to a specific audience or specific ad set, and I'll see, okay, which one of these pictures did the best? Which one got me the cheapest rate for my objective that I wanted to have? And then from there, I can take the best image, and then I might switch out the headline, or, you know, and I'll run maybe 3 different headlines with the same image and the rest of it the same. So you can keep drilling down till you find a combination that works best, and you just have to do that with testing and learning how to read the statistics. Okay, so the next thing is the conversion. Okay, what is a conversion? A conversion means the person did what you wanted them to. So if the main thing you wanted them to do was just go to your blog, just click, go to your blog, then a conversion would be going to your blog. If the conversion is that you want them to go to your opt-in page and fill out a form, then the conversion is they went to your page and filled out the form. If you wanted them to go to your page and buy something, then that's a conversion. So it's based on what your objective is. And your objective is going to be different on almost any campaign. It could be different. But you want to always go for the optimum. So like if you're sending somebody to an opt-in page, instead of optimizing for clicks, which would just be getting them to the page, you want to optimize for what you really, really want in an ideal world, which is them to fill out the form. So when you create an ad, you want to optimize for completed registrations. They filled out the form. They have signed up, given you name and email, and that's the objective that you really want, and that's what you want to optimize for. See, the thing of it is Facebook tries to give you what you ask for and nothing more, okay? So if you do a boost, for example, let's say that, you know how Facebook, if you put some blog or a video or something on your business page, and they're always trying to get you, $5 will boost it to so many people, $10 will boost it to so many people, and they'll get you spending little bits of money here and there, and you don't really ever see too many results. And why don't you receive results? Because boosts are just all about engagement. They're optimizing simply for engagement, which means people looked at it, people clicked on something, possibly they liked it, maybe they commented, maybe they shared. But if what you really wanted to have happen was for somebody to actually click through to your site and fill out a form, it's not optimizing for that. Facebook is not incentivized to ever get that person to leave the site. They don't want people to leave Facebook. So they're not going to give you people who will leave Facebook. They're going to show your ad to people who like or share or comment, but not people who click through and go to your site and fill out forms, because they just want to make it look like you had activity, which may or may not be of any use to you, okay? And they don't want to send people away unless you tell them, I want these people to leave the site and fill out the form, and you optimize for that, and you will pay more for that, okay? But it will be what you really want. Okay, so I kind of got ahead of myself. That's your ad objective. What is the objective that you want? Do you want clicks? Do you want people just to like this thing and talk about it and get it, spread viral or whatever? And there is a time for that. There's totally a time for that. But if you want them to go and fill out a form, then that needs to be your objective of a completed registration or a conversion. And they call that conversions. By the way, when you create the ad, a conversion in their world is, you're getting them to act and do something. Okay, so a CPC is a cost per click, and that's an important thing you want to know. How much is it costing to get a click? How much are you paying to get somebody just to click to your site? That's important to know. Another thing that's important to know is cost per conversion or cost per completed registration, something like that. And that's letting you know how much did it cost you to get somebody to fill out the form, or how much did it cost you to get them to buy something, if that was your objective. All right, so these are just the basics. Now, I just want you to understand there's a whole lot more that you need to know to run Facebook ads effectively. And these are just some ideas of things things for you to study on, things for you to look up. And if you want to learn this stuff, I invite you to join my mastermind that's coming up. But here's some things that you need to know is how to set up those Facebook pixels if you haven't already done that. You might be able to get your webmaster to do that for you. How to build audiences from your site visitors and lists. So how do you set up those audiences? How to analyze the audience and decide who are your ideal clients, and are you really targeting the right people? How to build effective Facebook audiences. So not only the people that are your low-hanging fruit that you can capture, but now you want to reach new people. And how do you build effective audiences there? How to know which type of ad to use and which ones to avoid. There's video ad strategies and gathering video viewers into your audiences. Headline tips and strategies. How do you create effective headlines that are going to grab people? Just the copywriting basics of writing good copy. And Facebook has all kinds of rules and regulations. I'll give you an example. Like I'm working with a client who's a local finance. They're in finance, okay? And there's all kinds of rules and regulations that they have to jump through on their end about what they can say or not say just within their industry. But then also Facebook has rules. And you'll try to run ads to that audience and Facebook will reject them and say, you can't do that. You can't pinpoint gender, or you can't pinpoint, age range. There's certain things they won't let you say you can pinpoint them in your audience creation, but you can't talk about it. You can't say, are you 50 plus and ready for retirement and you really are nervous about that? You can't say that. You can't address that in the ad at all. And there's just different hoops that they make you jump through for some industries to make sure, especially if you're doing like home businesses or business type stuff. Sometimes there's also rules on that about what you can't make outlandish claims. You can't make claims about weight loss or certain levels of income, or, I mean, so there's just certain rules that you need to know. And then I talked a little bit about the split testing with the images and headlines, but there's different strategies to use to split test and see. You might want to split test between two different opt-in pages. Send part of the people to one opt-in page and another one to another to see which one works best. There's a lot of terminology that you need to know to be able to read those stats effectively. And you can build your own custom reports. I have a custom report that I always build for all my clients, and I'm always like, why doesn't Facebook have this as a standard report? It's not, but there's certain things you want to know if you're going to see if your ads are working effectively, and they're not really not shown in the standard reports that Facebook has most of the time. And one of the really cool things about Facebook advertising is you can, if you know how to read everything, you can tell where you're losing people. You can tell, is it the ad that's the problem? Or maybe my ad's working, but my opt-in page has got an issue. Once they get there, they're not filling out the form. Why aren't they filling out the form? Or maybe they're filling out the form, but when they get to the sales page, they don't buy. Or maybe you just don't have enough follow-up emails, or there's something where you're losing them in there. So that when you know how to read the input that you're getting from Facebook, you can get a good idea of where you need to work on your funnel, because there's just nobody who creates the perfect funnel right out of the box. It's just not going to happen. You need to be aware that you're going to need to spend a little money to find out what works for your audience, what doesn't, where you're losing people, and what you need to tweak. So it's a process, and it's an ongoing process because things change all the time too. All right, so if you're interested in it, I've got this Facebook Mastermind coming, and I created it mainly because I do Facebook ad management for people all the time. And but some people are do-it-yourselfers, and they really want to learn it themselves. They want to have a little more control of it. They don't want to just delegate it. And some people are just on a budget, and they don't want to, they don't want to pay somebody to manage their ad campaigns. They'd rather learn it and have that tool in their belt. And so I put together this mastermind, and it's marniemarcus.com/FB mastermind. I'll put that in the chat window for y'all. If I can get it to copy. Anyway, I'll do that in a second. But it's the first and third Tuesday of every month at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific. And you can either do it by the month, and you can stay in it as long as you want. You could stay in it 2 months and quit, or you stay in it for a year and quit, whatever you want to do, or how you can stay in it forever. Or you can save if you do 6 months at a time. You can save $103. So it's like getting a month free when you get 5 months. So the way I do my masterminds is they're very hands-on. They're not like your typical mastermind. There's brainstorming in them. You get the feedback from the other people in the group, but you're also going to get hands-on help from me. Okay, so if you bring your headlines and you say, look, this headline I think this is my bogging down on this headline. Can you help me come up with some better headlines? You can bring that to the sessions. Or, if you need help with an audience, maybe you're running an audience and you're not getting the results you want, we might be able to help you figure out a better audience. And the cool thing is you can share with the other people in the group what's working for them, what's not. And there's a lot of insights you can get from somebody running an ad in a completely different industry. They might give you an ad for something you could do that you might not ever have thought of. And then also I'm going to be training you on these different concepts. All that stuff I said you need to know, that's what we're going to be working through. So every time we meet, I'm going to give you a nugget of training on Facebook advertising, and then you're also going to have Q&A time with me. So let me give you that link and window, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. Hold on a second. I've got everybody muted right now, so let me unmute y'all. I can figure out how to unmute you. Okay, I got everybody unmuted now. Anybody have any questions? It looks like there's some questions in the thing. Laurie K says, I always look for the sponsored under the name, which means ad. Yeah, it'll say sponsored if it's an ad. And can you avoid sponsored at the top of an ad? Not really. Not that I know of. It's kind of like truth in advertising kind of thing.
Marnie, how about the ads that come up on the right side of your timeline? Those ones that they're different. They're like more like a, it looks more like a graphical ad.
Yeah, those are, when you run an ad, it can put them over there. It can put them in the news feed. It can put them on mobile feeds. It can put them in the audience network, which is like if you're clicking on a news article, sometimes you'll notice that those ads will follow you and they'll be embedded in the page of the news article. So there's this audience network that Facebook will put your ad out to. You can choose to send it to Instagram, or you can turn any of those off. I generally turn the right-hand ads off for a totally new audience because they just don't get the results that the others do. But now if it's people maybe that have already seen you and retargeting, those ads are not as bad. You know, they might catch their eye and I want to do this. I just didn't sign up the last time. So those work pretty good for retargeting, but not as well in my experience for the.
You need to put your phone on.
So you can.
My cord's in there. Can you grab it for me?
Hold on a second. I got some background noise and I can't tell where it's coming from.
Tammy Ward.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right.
So you can turn off the right-hand ads within the dashboard or whatever you call it, the Facebook management. What do you call that?
Well, when you go to create the ad and you're setting up your campaign, then the next thing it goes to the ad set. Who's the audience? Okay. So when you go to create the audience, there's a section that's called placement. And under placement, if you click it like advanced, it'll pop up and you'll see Facebook and audience network or mobile. If you click on the Facebook thing, it'll pop out and there'll be one in there where you can turn off different ones. So you can turn the right-hand placement off if you want to.
So how many choices are there?
Well, it changes all the time. So
okay.
I might be able to.
Oh, Tammy said she's sorry. It's not your problem, Tammy. She unmuted us all at once.
Yeah, you didn't know it. So I can try pulling up an ad here really fast and show you. Okay, let me go back and do a screen share.
Donna, did you see Tammy's comment there?
Yeah, I did. It said, Donna, you say that my ads were bugging you? No. I just helping Marnie know where the sound was coming from. That's all.
Okay, so.
How are you feeling today? I'm okay.
All right, so this is the ads manager, and I'm gonna just pull an ad, hopefully, if it'll load. All right, so I'm gonna drill down in the campaign, and these are the audience. This is the audience I'm running to.
Close.
So if I edit that ad set.
I think I didn't read them, but coming in here. Change.
You never know when you go inside with the
Right, right.
Well, slow.
Yesterday it was windy and.
Okay, right here, placement.
And shorts and t-shirts and sleeveless tops.
It's on automatic normally. You have to change it to manual. And here they are, Facebook, Instagram, the Audience Network, or Messenger. So right in here, you can choose, it's got to be in the feed. You can't turn everything off. But you could unclick right column or one of these others.
So you can advertise through this ad manager. You can advertise on Instagram.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll be darned. Facebook bought Instagram. Is that the deal?
Right. Yeah, they did. Okay. Any other questions?
Do you get nauseated or you just don't have a lot of appetite?
Don't have a lot of appetite. Yeah.
If I've muted you and you don't want to be muted, you can say something in the chat. So say, I got a question. I'll unmute you.
Because I'm supposed to be at a certain way.
I saw something once about, this is Lori Kay, by the way.
Yeah.
About copy and the copy that you put in your ad can link to something. I'm not sure how to do some of those links. Is that something that I want to be a part of your mastermind for, to try and figure that out?
You can just put the link in the copy.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's if you put the full URL, it will put it up in the top part. So you can do that. And I do that especially if I'm going to use long copy. I'll put the link maybe a couple times in there.
Maybe towards the end.
And you just have
Oh,
to
sure. No, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like you would write an email,
Mm-hmm.
like the link early, middle, late, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a standard kind of word count for successful ads?
And ever since you've known me,
No, because most of the time, like we'll do really short copy up the top that doesn't go to where they have to hit more. But I actually had a lady one time that wrote this immensely long.
Marnie, I can't hear you. Mute Judy's iPad, please. I think.
Okay, I'm gonna mute everybody for a second. Okay, so this lady had this really, really super long ad with multiple links all the way through it. It's the longest thing I have ever seen, and it worked better than any other ad we ran for her. So you just kind of have to test your audience. And now she had an opt-in offer that didn't give a whole lot of information on the opt-in page. So she was just given just tons of information on the ad itself, and then she sent them to a page that had very little information. So you could try that. You could try giving them all the information up front and then have a low, quick opt-in page, or you could flip it around and try the reverse. And every audience is different almost, because your audience is going to be different than my people. Your personality that you're going to attract is going to be different than the personality that I would attract. So I say test. Okay, I'm going to unmute people. You got background noise. Hit the mute button. Let me try.
I hope my mute's off.
I should listen to the parents.
They're all
Manually.
But because it's just every now and again, the doctor can't.
Can anybody tell who the noise is? I hate to call names.
Well,
It's not like he's depressed or something.
sometimes they light up. Actually, if you mute everyone, we can unmute ourselves if we want to speak.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be all right. I think I got rid of the noise, but okay. Any other questions?
You keep unexpectedly unmuting me, and I'm yelling at my kids, Marnie.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, I didn't hear you yelling. Okay, we didn't hear the yelling, so you got that much going for you. So I muted you back, Laura Kay.
Yeah, Tammy Ward said that she home educates 7 kids, and I said they're lucky kids.
Yeah. They wouldn't be lucky if
Sorry.
I was the one home educating.
I'm only home educating 3 right now, so, but we are active people. We are not quiet. Okay. So I have a quick question about using ads, and this might be super basic, but to gather to try and figure out who my audience is. Is there a way to do that, to gather information for a product with something like an ad? Or is that better to do, I know that takes expense, but is it better to do just in your sphere of influence? But I'm looking at gathering information from people that in my sphere, they might not be as open to share as they might if they were a little bit more.
Are you trying about a survey of some kind like that, or?
Yeah.
I mean, you could try using an ad and run an ad for a survey. We did this with grant mamas. They did a grant survey with teachers. How many teachers had done grants and how, what they knew about grants and everything. And they wanted several thousand entries, and we were able to do that with ads. But they were giving prizes. They gave away, a copy of their grant writing software at the different tiers. They gave away, I think, some cash prizes even to get those school teachers to fill out the forms. So they did it more with a prize type thing.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I would venture to say that when you're talking about the woman who had the super long ad, I'm beginning to think that the opt-in pages have to be really, really brief, because people have, you used to have 7 seconds before people jumped off. You only have about 3 seconds today for people to jump off of a page.
Yeah. So what you have on there better be grabbing and better scream, "I need this."
Help me, help me.
Make them say that. I really need this. This is exactly what I need. Yeah.
That was a good session, Marnie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. Well, if y'all want to talk about your particular Facebook ads and your strategy, whether you want somebody to manage it or whether you want to be part of the group, you have questions about it, you're welcome to book a session with me. I do 20-minute strategy sessions at marniemarcus.com/20 MIN, like 20 minute. So there's the link for that. You're welcome to get on my calendar if you want to. So thanks for hopping on. Appreciate your questions. Good feedback, good interaction. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great job, Marnie. Thanks.